Hey folks, welcome to one of my last training runs before the Pitztal Ultra, which is gonna be finishing the series of my ultra training. The series that was supposed to be 100k twice, that turned out to be 100k once, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. In this episode I want to talk through my training, my current state, and my preparation for the Pitztal race. The unfortunate reality, which I probably should have seen coming, is that my recovery from Zugspitz took much longer than I expected. I'm recording this at Tuesday. The Pitztal race is Friday. The first time I was able to run relatively pain-free was last week. I've had quite a bit of pain in my calf muscles and some pain in my knee. The knee pain went away much sooner, that's not worry. However, the knee pain seemed to have been triggered by bicycle training. So I wasn't able to do bike as much as I thought I would. The plan was to include bicycle training as impact-free training to avoid any injury or allow recovery from Zugspitz. Because the knee injury, I haven't been able to be on my bike. So that's almost been zero, just to be on the safe side with the knee. And for running, calf muscles been really preventing super hard workouts. However, I'm actually quite all right. I feel that my training is enough, at least as good as it can be. There's no such thing as perfect training block anyways. I haven't been sick, I've been training, and let's just say that the Zugspitz Ultra was the training race for this one. So that's a good day out for training. So I feel prepared. I don't think I'm injured. The pain might come back for calf muscles, but it's a muscle pain. So I'm not too worried about it, and it goes away when I just relax the pace for a bit. And it usually goes away once I'm really warmed up. So all is good. All is ready from my training side. Now the Pitztal race has been altered a little bit as well, and I had a heart attack when I got an email from the organizer saying that there's a course changes. I said, okay, there goes my other 100k, but that's not the case. There's some minor changes on the course, but it's like a distance is same, elevation same. But what they added is a mandatory helmet with you. I went to the local sports store here in Weilheim and got myself a helmet and the mandatory snow spikes, my shoes. So that really made the realization hit that this is a different type of a race. First, it's the longest race I ever done. It's most elevation that I ever had in my race, and spikes for the first time and a helmet for the first time. So I'm taking this seriously. I'm preparing seriously. I expect a very, very long day. I expect a lot of pain. I expect that it's going to be the toughest day of my life. I'm not going there like we say in Finland, jacket open. I'll take this seriously, and I hope I can get through. My only goal is to beat the cutoffs. My last training day in the forest of Weilheim, I'm trying some gear and I'm trying some nutrition that I was given. And it's really nice to have alternatives to the precision because it hasn't really worked. But I don't want to leave it to the race day to try, so I'm going to try it today. I've never had NAC before. It's the first try. It's much more liquidy. I had it in my pocket for a while to make sure it is warm like it would be in a race as well. Actually pretty good. Tastes much better than the disgustingly sweet precision ones. So my plan is probably take these gels from NAC, have the juice from Precision. So I'm not going to use the powder one from Precision this time, because I think that's the one that screwed up my stomach every time. Because I very rarely have stomach problems when I'm in the training, but I've had stomach problems in both of my races this year, and both of our races this year I used that one. So that's a change I'm gonna make. 100K is a distance I have to be able to eat. If I fail at eating, I fail at the race. Okay, let's look at some of the equipment. My first task. This is the helmet I bought. I bought the cheapest one. It's quite lightweight. I have no understanding how these things work and what is good one. I got a tip that this is all right, and this was about 100 euros, which is a lot of money for something I use maybe once. Now, it's gonna be at the middle of the night, so I also need to figure out how to put my headlamp on it. And that's the first step for today, to understand it. I was told that you clip it here, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm very happy my headlamp is one of these that have no battery on them. The battery is separate, so it should be easier with the helmet. And getting this in here, damn, it's not trivial. It's good that I start with this, so I don't have to do this in the middle of the race, as far as I know. But yeah, this is not easy. This is quite painful. Everybody in the comments can tell me that I'm doing it wrong, because I've never done this before. And it's actually easy if you know what you're doing, like most things are. Oh shit, this is difficult. Figure it out. Can I just put it in the... Do I need to clip it in? I definitely don't want it to kind of jump off my head when I'm running. But yeah, like I said, I really like the silver one. So the battery is fully separate. And I just clip the battery here and put this in my backpack. So this one is easier. Okay, this is good. This is good. It's not straight, but definitely not coming off. I'll try it. Well, I'm not there to get style points, so as long as it holds and I can see where I step, that's gonna be fine. Okay, so here's the next task. 50 euros for something that you maybe use once again. Maybe I use them more. Trail spikes. So I bought them from the same store. It's not cheap. This again. Need to go on the shoes. Now I decided I will run the first part of the race with my Ultra Olympus. These have much bigger lugs at the bottom than other trail shoes I have. Tried these are right size, so I didn't have to return them. The shop assistant was super nice because I didn't have my shoes with me when I was in the store. Said, you know, if they are not right, just come back and we'll change you the right ones. But these do look like they're the right ones. They go up more. Maybe they go one up more. I assume they need to be tight, otherwise they will... Okay, now it's good. They are quite tight. And I put the other one. There we go, we have both set up. I assume this will be very fragile if these links are not in correct orientation. I don't think these are super strong. I need to be very careful not to break them. I also do not think you really run with them. When you have spikes on, you probably just walk. Really sweating in this heat, putting on snow spikes, which is really funny. Okay, let's try them on. I of course would have the gaiters, but I don't have them with me. But they will work here, no problem. And here, no problem with the gaiters. Okay, let's see how they feel like. Honestly, can't really feel any difference. Good, that means they're good. If I don't feel any difference, I'm fine. Okay, back to the studio then, and looking at the last part of the race preparation, which is of course figuring out all the information of the race. And a good place to start is always the race page and the actual race that we are looking for. So here's all the information about the race from the race organizer, and all the maps and all of the information, all of the minimum equipment and so on. But the cool thing what they did is that they sent a link to a race magazine produced for this race. So this is actually in a kind of in an interesting way and a pretty cool way to show all the program and all the information. And it has a very detailed map and information about the P105, which is the races as I'm doing. Unfortunately, some of the stuff is a little bit cryptic here. I do not know what these symbols mean. I guess it's fast and slow times. I also don't know what these units are. It's a bit like okay, it might be self-evident to somebody, but it's not to me. But I have pretty good understanding of the aid stations. Unfortunately, I don't think there's drop back option, which is super strange because we loop through the same town multiple times, which confuses me. Okay, that's the official part. Then we jump in a different program to really look at it. And this, of course, is my word match that I'm going to be using mostly to understand the difficulty of the race. And I've been looking at this a lot, so this is not the first time I'm looking at it. But I keep getting back to it to really having a good understanding and really ingraining my head where the difficult parts are and understanding what to expect and where. And we know it's a kind of a looped race, which is quite an interesting concept. I haven't done one of these before. There's an option to drop to a shorter race, for example, which will put some mental strain to the runner and to me for sure, because it's so easy when you're feeling tired and wet or hot and uncomfortable. It's so easy to want to get it over with. And this race provides plenty of opportunities to do so, because every time you loop at the start, it's right next to where our hotel is, and I can just end it at any point. So it's going to be mentally tough also to leave the central aid station every time this do. Interestingly, the race has really kind of two super tough sections, and one of them is at the very, very start. So we can see this, it's categorized on 41 TEP in the word match. It's more than 1,000 meters, almost 1,400 meters elevation straight from the start of the race. And if you look at the climb data here, unfortunately there's no surface data, but we pretty much know it's gonna be tough if you look at the map of the thing. So this is where the race starts, and it's just a small warm-up jog, and then it starts. There's nothing like there's not much to say about this. By looking at the map, you know exactly what kind of terrain it's going to be, and it's middle of the night because it starts at 11. So reaching the top is going to take a couple of hours for sure, and then you approach the glacier crossing, which is very cool, but it's going to be done in the dark, I guess, depending a little bit how long it takes me to get through everything. But yeah, this is the start of the race, and I'm mentally prepared that this is going to take a lot of energy out of me, and I will not attack it. I will try to conserve my energy. But here's the glacier and all of this. I bet it's beautiful. I don't know how much I'm gonna see, but let's see how it's going to be. But yeah, this is the curve as well, and it's very clear that it even steepens at the end. So after 5K of climbing, then you hit a very steep section here. But well, okay, that's fine. That's the nature of this race. There's another one that is similarly tough. I think the TEP calculation is somewhat wrong here. I think these two sections probably should be merged together, because they are so close to each other. The automatic algorithm had just looked at it and said, okay, these are different because there's a dip between. But I think that's really not the case. But it starts just climbing, pretty hardcore climb. And then of course this is not the end, because there's the other part of the climb still at the end. Again, unpaved surface, not surprising. Unknown is probably also unpaved. It's classified quite difficult. There's no comments about it yet. Let's see if this one is also. This is also categorized a canonical climb. We can look at how it looks like. The elevation data seems to be a little bit low resolution here. I hope I can find better data, but yeah, this is just climbing, and there's a hut at the top. This is going to be really, really beautiful, no doubt about it, assuming I'm still in a state where I can actually take in the data. So the killer climb is the beginning and at the third loop. So there's 3 loops at least. This is a little bit questionable. I don't think this actually counts as a loop. Maybe, but there's basically, this is the times that we loop through the starting area again. So the first loop, killer climb, killer downhill, and then the second loop is a little bit easier comparably, but it's quite long. And then the third loop again requires helmet. The second loop you don't need helmet. First loop you need helmet. First loop you need snow spikes, and then the third loop is very long one, but that's kind of, this is this gradual run back at the bottom of the valley by near the roads, I suspect. And then there's one climb at the end that, you know, at this point probably doesn't feel horrible. Probably feels horrible, isn't really super horrible. So the very last loop from the start, which is here, it goes again, it goes up and just does like a small loop, some parts that you already run. But yeah, this is going to take a lot of mental energy at the 86 kilometers, 87 kilometers to still head out for one last one, especially if it's already dark at this point, which it very well might be. Now, nowhere in the race details it says anything about drop bags. I was assuming that we would always have access to a drop bag here. It doesn't say anything, there's no information about it. I will pack with me a drop bag, but I will make sure that I don't actually need access to one in case there isn't a drop bag. So I have both setups ready, and when I'm there Friday, I can see if I can actually have a drop bag, then I move some of my stuff to the drop bag. If not, I'm ready to run the whole thing with my Olympus shoes, and that's gonna be fine. Then the last thing is nutrition, which I'm going to use the race pace calculator for. My nutrition is going to be very simple. So I think I made a mistake in a couple of my last ones when I tried to have gels from Precision and I tried to have the powder mix from Precision, and I think neither of those really work with my stomach really well. On the other hand, the Precision Fuel chews really do work, but there's not a lot of carbs in them. But a little bit carbs is better than none, which seems to be the case with me quite often when I'm not doing enough. So this is a great, fantastic calculator. If you haven't tried, try Race Pace. They have a lot of new other race information as well. Unfortunately, it's no longer connecting directly to my Garmin. They use something called Terra API, and I'm not happy to connect to Terra because it's a third-party American system that I'm not sure what they're going to do with my data. I might be paranoid, but I don't want to give my data there. Happy to give it to Race Pace, but not for that third-party system. So my training is no longer connected to Race Pace. But that's fine. It doesn't really matter. What I can do here is to basically figure out how many should I need for this whole race. The NAC ones are cool. They have electrolytes in them. They are very easy to drink. So I'm going to have quite a few of these with me. They are much more liquidy than the Precision ones. And the Precision ones are a bit icky. So I'm going to go with these two and then complement from the aid station. So I'm going to take 5 packs of these and probably maybe eight of these. And I know I would need much more to cover the whole race. But the reality is that I will not be eating them. Maybe I grab a couple of more. And I will put more of them into my drop bag for sure. Coke. Now, I didn't find anywhere if they actually have Coca-Cola on the aid stations. And because I don't know about the drop bags, I don't know if I can access mine, but I will pack Coke in my backpack so to avoid the same thing that what happened in Zugspitz, where they had Red Bull cola that I couldn't drink, and it really hampered my effort. So I'm going to calculate 4 colas here, which might or might not be true. Watermelon is something that I always eat, 150 gram So if they have that in the aid station, I have no idea if they do. And otherwise, cucumber, they don't have cucumber here. The reason is probably the fact that there's really very little nutrition in it. There's no carbs in cucumber, so that's it. I basically use cucumber to soak in salt. So I dip it in the salt and get my electrolytes there. I will add 1 banana. Now, this calculation shows me that I don't have enough energy for this race, and I'm quite aware of this. But I also don't want to make a calculation that I know is not realistic. So I'd rather go with this calculation. This is something that I'm pretty sure I can eat, and I will then see what they have on the aid station. I know they have Moritan gels, but I never tried them, so I will not try them unless there's an emergency where I really need something. So I'll just go with this. I'd rather have something that I know I can eat and try to avoid stomach problems as long as I can and start to keep on running. So I'm good here. This is realistic for me. Fluid intake is completely separate. I will have a lot of water and then of course cola, but that's I'm not worried about. The sodium thing here as well is not actually very realistic because I will be using soda or sodium from the aid station. But this is good for me. I'm not gonna create a specific plan, because what RacePace allows you to do is kind of get them spread out here based on the aid stations and so on, but not needing for me. The RacePace pacing calculator is also extremely cool. I really like it. I like how they show these things. However, as far as I know, in this race, they do not have cutoff times here, which is somewhat annoying, because cutoff times are something that are, tough for me. But here's my rough day would mean that I would arrive probably past cutoff time at the end. But let's see how it goes. Yeah, so I'm going to ignore pacing strategy completely, and I'm only going to be chasing cutoffs and try to stay in the races as long as possible. Yeah, but these are the 2 software I would recommend doing. Take a look at RacePace and of course our own Word Match, which allows me to figure out where my training has been. So this is the last thing to do, which I've been of course following for a long time. But this is my training to Zugspitz about a month ago versus the current training window. I've evaluated my race in Zugspitz, which didn't go very well at the end. But here I understand how do my training compare to the Zugspitz training, and of course, running Zugspitz is part of the training window for this race, which is good. I've climbed significantly more than I did preparing Zugspitz, and I have a good taper for climbing. I have spent time on feet more than I did for Zugspitz, which is good, and I have a good taper. So in my opinion, everything here looks like I'm good. I'm better prepared for this race than I'm prepared for Zugspitz. But it also is way tougher race, like a 33 to 110 TEP, and quite a bit more distance as well. But that's what it is, and that's what we go with. I will head to Pitztal the Friday morning from my home, go to public transit, have to hit the race briefing at 6:30 p.m., then figure out what to do with 5 hours time, and then the race starts at 11. So if somebody's going to be at the race and want to meet up after the race briefing and hang out, let me know. Ping me over Mastodon or YouTube comments, and maybe we can hang out and do something together. Otherwise, this is probably the last video before the race, and see you on the other side of the Pitztal race. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye.